Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. My name's Mo, and today I will be sharing with you these 3 lovely journals that I recently posted to Facebook as just a sneak peek, and 2 lovely women decided to purchase before I had a chance to even make the video, and I was honestly a little surprised and honored that they liked my work so much. They purchased it before they saw the inner workings of the journals. So thank you to you ladies, you know who you are, for supporting my art and having faith that you are going to like the inside. I know you will, but it was just really touching that it happened. So again, thank you. What I'm going to do is, let's do this one first, and then we'll do these 2 next. Alright, so this journal is a vintage book. As you can see, actually on this journal I left the original spine. I generally will take out the spine and make a complete new one and reattach the book covers. But for this one, I did not. And on the front, you can see it's just a little collaging that I've done with some different papers. The paper on the back is Graphic 45, and then the rest of the stuff is Tim Holtz. And I just put a little handmade with love by me. And I also did some staining with the Distress Oxides, and then added some charms on the side here. Oops, sorry. And they actually, if you're worried about it not laying flat or something, it actually does, so you won't have to cut them off. And then right here I just attached a little key. It's actually a real key that used to open. It looks like a padlock. And then this is one of the super old thread spools that I have. I think there's only 1 or 2 more left, and I'm pretty sure they're over 100 years old. It goes to a old Singer machine. The closure is just some crocheted lace that is attached to one of those Tim Holtz posts, and you can just pull it like that. And if it gets bigger, if the owner decides to add things, this does allow for room, so just keep that in mind. Things of the journal, here we go. And this front page, I've just got a little collage going on here. It says, for the front pocket, it says, "Wherever you go becomes a part of you." I really like that. And in this first little mini envelope is just some extra paper for the book plate. It basically matches the paper that's under here, so you can switch it out if you want to. And it's tuck that right behind this. It is a little tuck spot, and then there's another flower back there. I didn't cover this because I like the way it looked. Here is one of my first attempts to make a little, I guess, like book plate. It says "This book belongs to," and then a little space to put your name if you want. If not, that's cool too. Do whatever you want with it. And then we have one of those really old vintage cards. Oops, sorry. Number 4, a bucket list out of the mouth of babes. Funny kids quotes. Just a little journaling spot or picture plate. And then a handmade tag by me using the Distress Oxides by Tim Holtz, sorry. And those just slide in there. And then, first page, at the beginning of each signature, there are it's going to be pattern paper. And then, what I was going to say is I should probably measure this. We're looking at 7.5 by 4 1/4 is the measurements on that baby, and there are, well, I haven't counted the pages, but there's at least 120, probably more like 150 or 60. Did some stamping throughout the whole book. There's sewing and lots of collage spots. This is just like a little, it's a bigger paper clip. You can use it as my thoughts were a bookmark, but you can do whatever you want with it. It says, be your own kind of beautiful, and then this is one of my most favorite stamps, which is the bust of a winged lady. I love it. It's very steampunk. Everything's been tea-dyed or coffee stained for the most part. There may be a few pages that aren't. And yeah, here's a little sewn ruffle with a journaling card or piece of paper. This is a tuck. Let me get something. So, a little tuck spot there. Page, another little journaling spot. Let's see, oops, I'm out of frame. Get it together here. My goodness. Little corner tuck. Doily with just some journaling prompts. Growing up, and when I first met you, I thought you were, I think those are from Smash Box or Books or something like that. Oh, and then this little journaling card. Little details I don't want to forget. Another one, the kind of parent I want to be. If you don't want to be a parent, you can give it to somebody else. Little pocket, love letter. More journaling. Some of the paper does have like a blue hue kind of tint to it. Got a little family picture, siblings. A little halvesy sheet, which also could tuck something secret in there. Stamping. This is a big pocket inside. Just a journaling card. In the back of it is a mini envelope with some really nice wrapping paper. Actually, it's not wrapping paper, it's out of that book with the old replica of the wallpaper. And then tiny ticket and a tiny card. It says Majestic. Another journaling card. This is an old book page from well, it's actually going over the royal stamps. British, or no, Australia. It says this is from the series of 1970. I don't remember when the book was printed. And then here we've got another journaling card. And then a little poem book page. It's Ends and Peril of Hope, which I believe is Robert Frost, I want to say. Don't quote me on that. Oops, the little thing just flew off. My goodness. Gosh, you guys, I'm sorry. Kind of all over the place today. Alright, a little weekly page. We got little tickets and story of my nickname. In this pocket, just a little collage here with the raised embellishment. This is a real piece of vintage ephemera. Mountain Mist. I just put it in here because it matched the colors theme. We got a little side loading pocket here with a little ephemera, dictionary page on curiosity. This is the middle of the signature. More journaling spaces. And then, no, it doesn't lift up. This one does lift up. You can hide something under there. And then some more ephemera. This is this cool graph paper that I have not ever seen before. It's kind of like see-through, almost like baking paper, but it's not. Then another side loading here that is these awesome, I found these awesome cards at a thrift store, and they're from a set, I believe it's like the Old Maid card. Dippy Dab is her name. See her? And then another just little vintage ephemera. It's a graph paper and just all the random vintage paper that I have in my collection. Some more journaling prompts. Before I want to visit, and that's for age. And then behind there says best trip ever. Another one of those sheets. Weekly overview. Keep moving forward. That is a tuck spot. We need to tuck something back there. I didn't put something in every spot just because it would have made the book way too big, and it already is pretty chunky. Of course, for the owner that gets it, they are free to take out what they're not using and add it as they go. I tend to like to do my journaling that way. It just makes it easier. More coffee dyed paper. Another little tuck here with the fold outs. More journal prompts. Wow, I really loaded this thing with them. Places have been, 3 words to describe, and overheard. Some nice, cute little vintage pictures. This is a pattern paper, but it's of a sewing paper. Here's another corner tuck with some Tim Holtz vintage ephemera, and then this is another card that I created. It's the Tim Holtz ticket stamp, and I've been into art journaling for a while, and I have a lot of sheets of paper that were practicing on for colors and sprays or whatever. Stamping, graph paper, another little pull out with that paper inside. I don't think there's oh, it's an envelope actually that you can open. I love, love, love this paper. Gosh, why is it? My camera's not focusing. I don't know why. It's not the best, I guess. This is a real piece of vintage ephemera. It was like a scrap that I had left over from one of my first journals. This is France. The little girls giggling. Another little ticket. Definitely lots of room to journal. More vintage ephemera. a little fly. It's like a wooden embellishment from Prima. A little side tuck with a real piece of vintage ephemera. It says, so often, so often, in the happy days gone by, and I know your heart will answer to each loving wish of mine, while I greet your the distance. I think that's how you say it. You or the distance. Another little pocket page. There's a little side tuck there, and then a little shipping tag and nameplate, whatever you want to use it for. Another little super tiny tuck, oops, gosh darn it, down here, and an opening journaling card. It's a map. Cool piece of paper. Transfer came out awesome. There's even a star up there. Here's a little tuck spot with some vintage ephemera. And then behind it, top 10, you get to select the subject. And that is a pocket behind there. I did have to reinforce this because the page was kind of a little brittle from the baking process. But I think it should be good to go. I definitely used a medium to secure here and then extra security with washi tape. This is an old piece of paper. It's like an old letter that was copied from, I think, 1960s or something way back then. And the copy is actually from back then, too. Side tuck with vintage card, Tim Holtz. This is a book page from The Lady and the Unicorn. Another little side tuck, some vintage ephemera journaling card. Gosh, I keep going out of frame. I'm so sorry. Flip out. This is another little vintage booklet. We Hand It to You by Shirley Cook. And I forget what this is about. Protection means prevention. Cleanliness is next to loveliness. Standard shapes and sizes. Colorful remarks. Hand lotions, hand creams, protective creams, soaps for laundering, toilet soaps, cuticle remover, bleach cream. If you'd like further advice on your personal beauty problems, write to me, care of Hillman Women's Group at 1476 Broadway, New York. Shirley Cook, the beauty editor. And that just goes on there like that. It's one of those Tim Holtz clips. I really like these. I think I saw Nick the Booksmith uses them often, except for hers are way cooler because they have a number on them, and I don't know where to get those or find them locally, but I do love them. Here's another, this is a, no, it's not a pocket. A sewn pocket, hopes and dreams, I shall create. And then another piece of paper for journaling. This is out of that Gold Leaves, I believe it's called. Leaves. And it's just really awesome quotes. They are mostly spiritual quotes, but they're wonderful. And I didn't attach anything to this page because, well, I just like the advice that it gives, and I didn't want to cover it up just in case when you get to that page you might read it and really have needed to hear that. So I left it. There's some quotes on happiness, wise anger, life, life again, and troubles. So, middle of the signature, got some journaling cards, more journaling cards, notes, and then this is Party Prep. Another little tag and journaling spot. This is out of a book page, or a book. It's like the first book pages that you see in a book. It says Radcliffe, 1946. Other side tuck with some ephemera and a piece of vellum. Side loading, a little journaling card. Out. And a flip out. Another side tuck. Some tracing paper. And vacation spots. Camping, cruise, downtown, staycation. Staycation, cool. And then this is a tuck spot. It's pinned together. A little pocket here on a half page. It's the other half of that unicorn. Here's the other half of that vintage copy paper, and maybe, I want to say, not sure. Another little pocket with a tuck. Side pocket with some more of that Tim Holtz journaling spot in the back. You can also put something here if you'd like. And a little collage. Piece of journaling paper. It says Dream. There's a butterfly. And another piece of real vintage ephemera about breastfeeding. I think I mentioned these before. I have quite a few of them, so they're going to be in a lot of my journals if they match as far as color scheme goes. So, that's the end of this journal. I hope that you love it. And I will be getting this in the mail tomorrow. So you should have it within a week or less. There's that one. Alright. Moving on. So this is out of my Tattered and Torn. I guess you could call it a series, as I do have quite a few more of this style of book cover coming up. So this book is another vintage book that I did not remove the spine, and the reason I didn't remove the spine is because it was a children's book. It was because of the mermaid that was on it, hence the whole theme of the book, which is like a nautical mermaid theme. So you've got the fabric collage, and then you have, for those of you that don't know, I made feathered jewelry for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years. I recently took kind of a break from it, but I have so much jewelry stuff, and I came to the realization that I needed to be using that stuff on my journals, otherwise it's just going to sit there. And although I still make feather jewelry from time to time, not as much, and I do have quite a bit of awesome stuff that could be incorporated into my journals just to make them that much cooler. So on the front, to get you a little closer, you can see this little chain mallet, I guess you can say. And I added like this little jewelry piece with the Tim Holtz there. The back is just pretty plain. You can kind of see the iridescence from the paints that I used, which on this journal cover I used a lot of Finnabar's colors. And then I did some modeling paste through a stencil stamp. Yeah, it's this stuff. Art Alchemy by Prima Marketing. Okay, so let's get into this journal. This journal, excuse me, is measuring, oops, let's see real quick. We're looking at 4 3/4 by 7 1/2, about 53 pages, so 106 front and back, plus several tuck spots, pockets, journal cards. I tend to stuff my journals. I just can't help myself, and I also send lots of extras with the journals themselves, just so you can have a little base to start journaling with. Sometimes it can be intimidating, and I feel like having something already with the journal definitely helps break through any blocks you might have as far as starting journaling. Okay, so first bookend here is a nice big gusseted pocket, lots of room, you can see there. It does have a little magnet right there, and then inside just a piece of pattern paper, bloom where you're planting, and got some other stuff in here. This is just a old map, I think, from Germany. Oh, you'll be able to look at it when you get it. And then this is out of like a quote inspiration deck, and I actually am just using it for extra washi for the journal. That way you can use it as you'd like. I actually used washi on the tabs, so you can do that, or oops, whatever you'd like with it. Oh my goodness, I need to quit doing that. So that's in the front pocket there. There is, again, lots of stamping in this journal, along with coffee and tea stain paper, of course. So the first page, I just thought it kind of went with the theme of the journal. Flipping over, a little tuck spot with an octopus. Here's one of those distress oxide tags. You can see that? I just love this stuff. Then this is an old little vintage postcard thing. It came in a children's book. And then a little postcard ephemera. And we've got here, this is a real vintage card. So cute. And inside there's a little note there to the woman whose card it was. And then this And this is a pocket, and then this is a tuck too. So on the back side of that, we've got an old dictionary page, and then this is an old map out of a Bible, I believe. Yeah, Jerusalem. And over here, a tag that I made, and it's also embossed with a little key. I don't know. Oh, there you can kind of see it. There you go. So there's that. Nothing on the back. There. I did also edge punch some of the pages as well. Little quote right there by Tim Holtz: "A dream is a wish your heart makes." Lots of journaling space, of course. Lots of graph paper. Little seahorses and another vintage ephemera. Live the life you imagined. This is a genuine vintage postcard, and it's got Wayside Inn in Middleton, Virginia. This is actually a little place to tuck a picture if you want, or not. And here I actually stapled on some extra paper. Little tuck spot back here with a card, a nice little quote on there. My cats are going crazy at the moment. Music paper. And then this is a flip out with a quote there. Also, you can read that when you get it. I'm going to try to make this as short as possible, you guys. And it's nice to have some surprises when you get your journal. Alright. Washi tape. And some little collaging. Another distress oxide tag. Fears to Conquer. And a journaling card by Tim Holtz. Just out of the paper pack. Ledger. This is a photocopied. Actually, I think this is a transfer from when it was in the oven, and then it's on graph paper. Some more vintage ephemera. Tim Holtz. I'll flip out. No. This is a really nice thick graph paper. Little tuck there. And then the 11 card. And just a little journaling spot. Pocket with a vintage journaling card, and then a piece of music paper that is purple. Actually, I don't know if you can tell, but it is a light purple. Little quote: "I know nothing with any certainty, but the sight of the stars makes me dream." Vincent van Gogh. Another little area with extra paper to write on, make notes or what have you. And a vintage tag. I think these were like for when you go to get your laundry done or whatever. Maybe, I'm not sure, but I did put some color on it. Tuck it in there. Another vintage, a genuine vintage card. It's 1956 to Bernice. They just wrote on the front. It's got a nice image though. And it matched the journal. And lots of spots to take notes or lists. You can utilize the big space for your important journaling. This is a vintage picture of a couple kids at the beach. It looks like he's throwing something. I don't think it has a date on it, but no, it doesn't. Your guess is as good as mine. I've got a nice another pocket right here. I did slide in some journaling stuff. And on the other side, some more journaling stuff. While you were out, tickets. And then there's another little library pocket here, journaling spots, and a card. And, sorry, that music, forgot I had it on. Another card. I was using actually Magical's, their powdered micas. Here we've got another vintage card, 1962. Grand Assembly, Order of Rainbow for Girls. Look into that. I don't know for sure what it is. And then diary and work record if you want to use it that way. We have a journaling card with a flip. Some frame. Okay. There's just a little quote there. And then you got some extra stuff on the back. Little belly band with scrap paper, some more journal prompts. That was originally, that wasn't from me, the writing there. It's just from whoever owned that paper pad. Little side tuck, journaling spots. More on the back. Beautiful. It's like some jazz dancers actually. Another distressed oxide. Tag on parchment, and then more journaling prompts. Here's some vellum. This folds out like that. Another tag. Put the vellum in there. I think that's where it was supposed to go. And there's another tag. The other half is music sheet paper, and there is space right there to tuck. Graph paper. Here we have some Tim Holtz vintage ephemera. It's a report card, and then it's a coffee dyed stationery. I love how the coffee dyed turn out, or how it turned out. I kind of dye my papers. I've watched other videos on how other people dye their papers, and I definitely didn't watch anyone when I first tried it, and I had no idea what I was doing, and it was quite the experience. And then when I watched a few videos on different, I don't know who honestly, I've watched so many videos, I do not really even remember who I had watched. but I was just, my method was not the cleanest, nor was it the easiest, although it did yield some pretty nice effects. I may do a quick tutorial on it at some point, just because I haven't seen any videos on the way that I do it, so maybe y'all would like it. On the very back and towards the end of this page, this is a quote from R.M. Drake. I believe he got famous from the Kardashians, who found him on Instagram and loved his poetry, and love him or hate him, they brought this guy into the public, and he really has some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful poems, especially if you're, I feel like they're really good for new love, and or the possibility of love is lingering in the air. Definitely, or at least his first books were on that vibe. He recently got his heart broken, it seems, so although they're a little bit sadder, they're still really beautiful, and I highly recommend checking R.M. Drake out if you have not already. But I'll read this really quick. It says, "And if there's a universe in her, then by all means let it be free. Let it be born with wings, and let it carry pain out of our bodies. Let her stars and moons be my church, and let loving her be my only religion." Gosh, I want somebody to say that to me. Just kidding, not really. Why isn't this coming out? It's a little glued in. Okay. Nice piece of stationery. And actually, I pulled this out the wrong way. A little piece of stationery there with some vintage ephemera. Folds up. And then you can tuck this right there. Oops. Another journal voucher. I love these things. It's made out of really nice paper. And then on the last page, we've got a couple vintage book page out of a magazine. I think this was from early 1950s, I want to say. Making pickles and relish, Santa Claus, wardrobe, and sewing. Some of our favoriteest things. So I just have that on here. And then on the very end page, we've got a nice little You Are Magical library pocket with some journaling spots, and then it also has a bag behind the library card with some stuff in there. There's another big tag that I embossed. Oh, I slid one of these in. I think that's it. So there's a little tuck spot that you can glue on if you want, or do whatever you want with it. And then another journaling tag that I think you can see. There you go. The raised texture. It feels nice. I like feeling all the different papers, the noises they make. It's probably one of my favorite parts of journaling. Alright, so there is that one. Again, this one is already sold, but I'm gonna do a little mini series on mythical creatures, beings, fairies, whatever you want to call them. So look for that. I also have plans. I've actually got one Halloween journal I should be able to film today, and then I've got some stuff for a fall journal that's super duper cute, and then I've got some really cool things for Christmas journals, which I'm going to try my hardest to get all of it done in a timely fashion. So hopefully you guys are into that. And then for our last journal today, these two journals are actually going to the same home, forever home, is this big old thickin', sorry, this big lady, and it is a vintage book that I took out the spine. This is a spine that I made, and then I covered the book with Tim Holtz paper, stamped it, colored it, made my little tattered and torn pieces, which is just old lace, fabric, measuring tape. I did dye all that fabric too. And then paper that was attached to this book cover. And then I got some feathers, which you're gonna probably see a lot of feathers on incorporated in my coming up journals, or at least I'm gonna try, just because I have so many of them. And then this little chain. So this is out of an old magazine that it's not gonna rip now. And then I did sew it on to the fabric itself. And then this is just some nice little chain work. French quote, metal flower, number 9, feathers, awesomeness. So the closure is just this little Tim Holtz hook. This is a fatty. There's definitely room on the hook, so you could totally add more to this and the closure will still work, just FYI. You do kind of have to like hold it to close it because it's obviously super big. Just hold it closed, like you have to kind of help it. So kind of hold it and then put that on. Okay, awesome. This is a little bit of a traveling theme, although I wouldn't say it's like a traveling journal. It's definitely kind of got that vibe a little bit. Weekend travels, maybe. Okay, first page. This is just a triple pocket. And then this is that gypsy paper. I forget their name again. I'm sure y'all know what I'm talking about. This is some vintage lace. All of it's mostly vintage. A little pocket here with some vintage ephemera. A little journaling card. This paper is actually from, I think, like a real traveler's notebook, and it's waterproof, so when I stained it and baked it, it definitely it changed the texture of the paper, and it feels weird. Like, not weird, but different. I don't know how to explain it. A little tuck spot, little piece of paper, or no, it's an envelope, but not an envelope, just a piece of paper folded up like an envelope. Write something secret on. It's a nice little pocket. It's a big one. Some vintage paper, journaling prompts, journaling card. I did reinforce this paper because it was, because of the age, it was like kind of breaking fairly easily. So I reinforced it and it's good to go now. And we got just a little tuck spot down here. Nothing big. And then pattern paper, graph paper. There's a little tuck spot too, and then a little pocket behind the little girls. Ledger paper. This paper is actually got a pink tint to it. A little pocket. Turns into a flip out. Pocket right there too. And then another pocket. Tag. You can totally glue this up if you want and make it like a little middle pocket, but I decided to let you make that decision. Some more ledger paper, some of those little cards. This is out of a little book about two kids, I think, falling in love. It's super cute. A little collaging with some journaling, cards, prompts. Some more. It's a piece of that old, super old Mother Goose book. A little journaling spool. Just a little tuck behind there. I guess I should like show you that. Tuck, and then I did have to reinforce this paper. It ripped a little, so I just put that tissue tape down. Lots of stamping. We do not remember the days, we remember moments. Caesar Pavese. Some ephemera. Some more ephemera with this little side tuck with these uber cute cards that I found this weekend. My nail's broken. I'm having a hard time flipping the paper. I apologize. This is an old book. I forget what it is. I just like the font that they use. I thought it was really pretty. There's another pocket page with a picture of some awesome guy with an amazing mustache. Journaling card. And some little ephemera tucked in there for you to do what you want with. It tucks behind that little ticket. Flip out, tag. Another little maze thingy. Journaling card. Flip out. Another book page. Journaling card. Tag there, scrap paper, some more, some tracing paper, book page of the sky, you know, I have this really old dictionary or encyclopedia that I keep forgetting to use, and it has really cool images in it. I need to make a reminder. It's a little flip out, it's middle of the signature. There are 3 signatures. Each one does start with pattern thick paper. And then there's also other pattern paper in there as well. It's a little flip out. Other side of that page. This was my first attempt at making like a little mini file folder. It worked. It's cute. I think I could do it better, but first attempt, you know, how it goes. On this side. Oops, sorry. Miracles happen every day. Every day. Every day. Flip out. Another big pocket. Some more paper extra in there. It's just regular plain paper that's been dyed. Has some vintage ephemera. Alright, here's another one of those little books figure finding, Shirley Cook. Another little picture. Ticket to Twilight, the drive-in. It's another one of those little folders, some ephemera, and it actually has just some paper in it you can use for little note jotting or whatever you want. Some more journaling spots. It's a big journaling card. And then this side is actually a pocket too. It has this in there. This is a piece of really thick cardstock that I distressed, and it has some nice little quotes on there. It says, "You are magical because you are." Some little tidbits and bobs. Some collaging I did, and then just some vintage ephemera. Big piece of paper you can open up when you get it. And another vintage ephemera. Collaging, some journal prompts, and the journaling card. Another little piece of paper. And then this is Department of Space Systems, Southwest Research Institute. A little file folder, toys. This is a genuine charge bonds account identification. Obviously it's just a card when you use when you purchase something. I don't really know, but it's super old. Doesn't have the date, but it's definitely from like the 50s or 60s. Another piece of paper. And on the very back here is my little card. There's a Pegasus on there. You can see. I love unicorns. In my journals, you'll always find it signed by me with probably this Pegasus stamp because I love it so much. And then this very back page, we've just got a little butterfly, and this is a double pocket. And I just have this slipped in there. It's one of those coasters that I figured she could do something with. And then we got just a little journaling card, and I think actually there's some other goodies down there that you'll see when you get it. So that was this one. I do hope you love it, and if you have a lovely day, sending lots and lots of love to everyone in Vegas that was affected by what happened there over this past week. And also, there are a lot of fires happening on the West Coast and on the East Coast. So if I could ask everybody just to say a little prayer for our country right now, definitely needs it. And there are a lot of people who are losing their lives, their livelihood, losing people they love, their homes, their animals, because of what's happening. So say a prayer, visualize the rain pouring down on all of the places that are on fire right now, and just keep them in your hearts. Thanks everybody for being here today. Sorry for the long video, and I will totally try to have my Halloween books out, or at least a video of them within the next couple days. Till then, ta-ta!